meeting for July 21st. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the roll.
Bozak,
Here.
Gustafson,
Here.
Kenny,
Here.
Legansky,
Here.
Shower,
Here.
Stompanato,
Here.
Sullivan,
Here.
7 present.
We have a quorum. That takes us to questions and comments and announcements of a general nature. This is on our agenda for those who might want to make a comment regarding something that's not on our agenda tonight. Or they may want to say something about something that's not on our agenda, but they don't want to wait till that item comes up for discussion. So the microphone's open for anybody who wants to make a comment about something. Yeah, just state your name.
Oh, my name is
Oh,
Laura.
come on up.
Oh, first time, sorry.
It's okay.
My name is Laura Shukri. Mrs. Sullivan is actually my neighbor. It's been about 40 years we've lived in Darien. Brought my daughter, Ella. This is her first council meeting, so I appreciate council members, mayor, and thank you for the warm welcoming. She just kind of whispered into my ear and said, "This is so cool, Mom. I would love to do this. I'm gonna be one of them one day." So I that warmed my heart, so thank you so much for that. Wanted to come and talk to you about the short-term rental ordinance that we have for the city of Darien. My husband and I, we have actually 2 properties in Darien. So like I said, we've lived here for 40 years. We've been residents for 40 years, and my parents still live here, family members still live here as well. We wanted to talk about the impact. Not only does it have to the city of Darien, but also to my family. So it's a secondary income that we utilize and use for our family to support the family. And research has shown that the short-term rental, once the ordinance was in effect, we had an 83% decline in occupancy rate. Our business dropped, and the city of Darien is very business-oriented, business-friendly as well. So we've definitely felt the impact after COVID and when the ordinance came into effect. Every guest that has gone into our properties have been vetted. We ourselves as property owners, we're not just taking anyone, we're taking 5-star rating individuals that are coming in, and we're bringing in the best of the best tourists. I mean, the people that we've had in our properties have sent us thank you cards, and thank you so much. The city of Darien has been amazing. They go to local businesses around the area. They eat in local eateries around the area. One of our properties is right in front of Chuck's restaurant, Chuck's and Q Bar, that strip mall there. And they walk across the street and go and have dinner. So having the ordinance be restrictive to 30 days and more limits the amount of guests and tourists that we're having coming into our properties. We've had people, international individuals coming in from Germany. We've also had national and domestic individuals coming in. We just had a lovely couple came in, and they've been in our property for more than 30 days, but they came to take care of their ill mother. She's in hospice care, and then unfortunately she has passed. So we left thank you cards and a thank you note, but they also became essentially a part of our family, and we left them a thank you. But they were a part of the city of Darien because their mom was here. So everyone that has came in has chose the city of Darien not only because of its luxury businesses and luxurious properties that we have here, but because it's centralized. We're 30 to 35 minutes on a good day to O'Hare and Midway. We have highways that are in major proximity to the city, and we have a beautiful transit system as well. So there's a ton of pluses to Darien, and I don't want to limit us to that specific ordinance to 30 plus because we're limiting ourselves not only with guests coming in, but revenue as well. So it's gonna impact the revenue for Darien as well. And then as of July 1st, the state of Illinois had implemented the Airbnb and Vrbo tax. Not quite sure if everyone's familiar with that, but it's a 14% tax that hits Airbnbs. So that's something that could be revenue coming into the city as well. And knowing that this specific ordinance is implemented in adjacent neighborhoods and adjacent cities, we should probably take advantage of looking into doing the opposite, removing the ordinance and welcoming people in. So I'm not quite sure if everyone has used Airbnb or Vrbo, but typically you go in for a week or a weekend. You go on a Friday, you come back on a Sunday. But you're looking at properties that are centralized, that you're able to move about the city, that you have local eateries and local restaurants, welcoming friendly individuals that are within that property as well. So myself and my husband and my family, we take pride in our properties and we take pride in the fact that we have residency in the city of Darien. So that was a little bit about the ordinance and come to speak to it. So if there's any questions, I'd love to talk about the impact.
You know, you made a very good case for your situation, and obviously you're someone who only wants the highest quality individuals on your rental property. Unfortunately, we had to deal with situations where not every property owner was the same as you. We had a number of situations that were brought forward to us where there was damage, where there was parties, things going on in the neighborhood because people were renting a home and parties were being held, and it was, I don't know how many we received, but we received a number of those. And that was one of the reasons why we went with the change in the ordinance. If everyone was as good as you in terms of making sure that you had all 5-star clients, there wouldn't have been a need to make that change. And you're in an unfortunate situation because you're over here. You're someone who is very good about who goes into your property, but there were a number of them that were not as good as you, which really necessitated our making that change.
I certainly appreciate that comment, I really do. I don't want a few bad apples ruining it for the rest of us. And that's where I'm coming from because it directly impacts a family, so that's why I'm coming.
Unfortunately, it wasn't more than a few, it was more than a few. Way too many. If it was a couple handful, we would have had the police deal with a lot of it. Unfortunately, it was more. It was every couple meetings we were finding, communication, people coming here just like you, but on the other side of the fence.
Anything else?
I also wanted to bring up, there have been several pending lawsuits in regards to Airbnb and short-term rentals. One of the most recent and adjacent to that is Glen Ellen.
Right.
I do have that as well. That's why I wanted to come and introduce this case because we don't want to get to a point where that is where it's headed. I want to keep it, try to put my case out there, so.
Anybody else have anything they want to add? I want to thank you for your presentation tonight. I talked to your husband, I believe, on the phone, and he told me he was coming tonight.
He broke his ankle and
But I'm
he's
very
got an
happy,
ankle
I'm very
injury
happy,
going
I'm very happy you came in, you presented us your side. I really am, and it's something to consider. I wish everyone was as good about it as you and your husband, I really do.
I wish so too, but I appreciate everyone's time, I really do. And again, I appreciate the pin
Thank you.
and my daughter coming in, so.
Just tell him you got your pin from the mirror.
She already took a selfie and sent it to her friends. She's showing it prideful, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I'll just leave this here. My name is Quentin Sims. I was here in June talking about my concerns about the e-vehicles. Not sure if it's a bike or not with pedals. I just wanted to, again, support the ordinance that's being proposed. And I want to make sure to let you know the most egregious thing I've seen yet. I was sitting at the corner of Clarendon Hills Road and Plainfield Road. There was 2 cars across the way heading north on Clarendon. There was an vehicle of some kind on it with a young man on it. Then the fire trucks came through. So as soon as the 2 cars in front of this young man moved, he was on the sidewalk. He came and his bike was going faster than any of the cars on Plainfield Road. He was weaving in and out to pass them. I just couldn't believe it. So I've presented this before, and I did it just tonight at the police committee. Thank you for inviting me to that, Mr. Mayor and council members. So I won't go through that again, but I can leave it here if you like for future reference. And just want to say thank you for listening.
Thank you for coming.
you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Mr. Darien. Always a pleasure.
Hi, my name is Nick Darien, resident of Darien since 1975, 8462 Sandalwood Court. I'm here also to applaud the fact that the city is going to be implementing regulations for the e-bikes. There have just been too many incidents of, oh my gosh, and almost. And fortunately, I have not seen one where there's actually been contact. But I mean, the carelessness is something that not only puts the biker in, and I bicycle all the streets in Darien, most of the streets in Darien. So it's not only the bicycle rider, but people around them. And you know, the problem is these kids don't look sometimes when they're crossing intersections or T streets. So, but I don't know whether or not it's more important to ask some of these questions before or after your consideration, because I'm hoping it's going to get approved. But I would suggest that under 9.10.1, where the classification of the bicycles is listed, that also in the Darien regulation, like in the Illinois regulation, it be included that persons under 16 years of age may not operate a Class 3 electrical bike. So if that could be added, I think that would be, the classifications would be complete. I have some other questions, but they would more fall into line after it's confirmed that the regulations have been approved.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Joe. Residents of the entire council, police, fire. On behalf of my wife and I, thank you to each and every one of you. We are 42-year, very proud residents of Darien, and it's because of you folks and hundreds of others that make this town of Darien truly a nice place to live. So thank you. I just want to piggyback on the e-bike situation.
Joanne needs your name.
Your name, please.
I apologize. Joe Bosch, as in the spark plugs without the money. B-O-S-C-H.
In charge of that.
My wife and I we live in a beautiful subdivision, Bailey Park, right off Bailey Road. We take daily walks to the 11:30 Mass in our beautiful chapel. We'll start out by going up to Plainfield, and then walk all the way to practically Frontage Road, and then walk home. We're so fortunate, okay? But again, with these situations, it's 2 things regarding these e-bikes, or as I've nicknamed them, mini motorcycles. Again, number one, it's for these young people's safety as well. It's gonna take just one accident for one of these to break their own necks, and one would be tragic. The other part is they're not only in the streets, but they're on the sidewalk on Bailey Road. And when my wife and I are walking, but then you've got many other seniors that walk that road every day to go to Mass or walk their dogs or whatever. And these kids are coming down and they're doing 25, 30 miles an hour. My wife was walking by herself the other day and one went whizzing by her and turned around and dropped a profanity at her. Like, what are you doing in my sidewalk? The other part of it is that really broke the camel's back was they're coming into our subdivision now. And they're driving across our lawns. We've got a couple big 1 acre, like we call them pastures, that we can look out and, you know, it's a beautiful, beautiful area. And they come zipping by. And I'll, yell out, and my one neighbor said, I never heard a voice like that out of you. And it's like, and then they just turn around like, they have no respect. And again, I think all of us at that age would have killed for one of those. So really, I just wanted to bring up, it's not only for their safety, but it's equally as important for all of us. And I know there's been some things done, and I can't speak exactly, but I thought Hinsdale was starting to take some serious votes, things like that. So we called the police one time because there were 2 or 3 that were out of their minds, and they were in our property in under 2.5 minutes, and they caught the kids, and he scared the heck out of them, and they said we didn't realize we were dealing. We'll never do it again. Well, the following weekend, they're right back out there. So again, I don't mean to stand up here and sound like a 64-year-old guy, but I'm 64 and I'm turning into that guy. So, thank you for all your time, and hopefully all of you will come to the proper resolution to this matter, okay?
Thanks, Joe.
Bless each of you. Thank you.
Hi, Heather Conroy, Darien resident. Came here, I've been verboing around. It was kind of interesting listening to her because she's right. No one's gonna verbo for like 30 days in a row. You verbo for like a week or 2. So that's some revenue coming in that you'll be losing now. And it was interesting hearing you guys say that there were so many people, a couple bad apples, when you're saying more than a couple bad apples. How many people have a Verbo or an Airbnb in Darien? Do you know how many? Like the actual number? Because I could Verbo my place tomorrow, or you could do it for like apartments or anything. So just maybe think about that. Like you don't even know how many there are, and you're saying a few ruined it, but you don't even truly know how many people are actually doing. And there's more than Verbo and Airbnb now. There's a bunch of them. So that's one thing. I was reading in the patch how there was a motion to let the Ward 6 come and speak, and not one of you stood up for him and let him come in, saying that, he's working in Canada. People do work remote. Whether he's working in Canada or not, I think in this day and age, when people they have a responsibility and they're trying to do that responsibility, and we're in 2025 going into 26, like you guys saw COVID, and it works. People go hybrid nowadays. That's like where we're at. So to not like offer that and not stand up for him and let him speak, that was kind of really disappointing in all of you. So that was one thing that I was like absolutely reading this from far away going, wow. When so many other towns are coming up and it seems like we're stuck in the past and we're not really standing up for businesses that are here, that live here and are local people. But a guy that owns 35 malls and worth an incredible amount of money is having our tax money diverted to a TIF. You're trying to open a TIF in our district. And that I've worked in TIF districts in Dalton, I've worked in Thornton, I've worked in Harvey. They're not good. They're not good for the town. All it is good for is him. It is good for him and maybe the city a little bit. So some of the questions I was like hearing and stuff, it can be extended like another like 12 years. So you're talking 23 years and then another 12. And who's here to turn it off? Because that happens too. It doesn't get turned off. People forget. It keeps going. That happened there. Look it up. So I would like highly suggest you guys really look into like what you're actually doing. And it's for blatant conditions. It's for places like Harvey and Dalton. It's not for Darien. And what you're proposing to put up, I don't know if you guys watch the birds, but I do. And they come in that path. So the construction that you're gonna do, they're gonna not nest there anymore. And also you're taking away their flight path. So it looks like a great mall. I moved here like 10 years ago almost. And it was already how it was. Tuesdays left, and then you had Joanna Fabrics leave, and now it's like, okay, we need money. So I don't know why we're taking our tax money and diverting it. It does hurt the schools, it does hurt it. I suggest you look into what that actually does, because it's not good. And opening a TIF is just saying that we have to do this. Why can't he do other things? There's other strategies than a TIF. You can hire market research people to come in and bring in businesses. That's like a thing. You don't need to invest in him and think that you have a say at the table, because you don't have a say, no matter what. He gets to do whatever he wants. So that's all I have to say, and I really think you should stop wasting time and money and doing the TIF.
Heather, I want to answer you on one point, and that was, I don't know if you're aware of it, but the residential is not a part of this anymore.
Who is a part of it?
The residential apartments are not
It's
going
the
to be done.
incremental difference, and it does eventually raise the taxes.
Let me finish. You said it's not for Darien, it's for Dalton, and it's for Harvey.
Yeah.
As
Bringing
part-
in businesses that don't wanna come in, that's what it was for,
We
that's
don't-
what it was made
We,
for.
we belong to DuPage mayors and managers, and I have to tell you, we're one of the few municipalities in DuPage County that have not done a TIF. You have communities have done, Willowbrook has done a TIF, Burrid,
Yeah,
they've all done a TIF.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
just
also
for
known as a
the
mayor's slush fund, you can
Harvey.
look that
And
up on
number
Google.
two, the schools do not lose money.
Yes, they do. Eventually they do, because they don't get that differential tax. It does get diverted. You can go Google this at home tonight. You know, this is going to affect, because they will go for a referendum. They're not gonna get what they need, so they're gonna be stuck at what they are, so they're gonna have to go for a referendum eventually. So I just see my taxes getting raised, and no end in sight. And I'm kinda like, what's going on here? Like, are your taxes raising as much as mine? Are you frozen or something? Like, I don't understand. And I don't understand helping a business owner that doesn't live here put money in his pocket with this when he has all, go look at it. You can Google and see what his net worth is and how many places he owns and how many companies and what he's doing in Jackson, Mississippi right now. So if he can do that in Jackson, Mississippi, why is, he doesn't need a TIF there. Like, I just don't understand. So I think he's saw an opportunity, and good for him as a business owner, I would too. I'd go, yeah, I'll work with you, yeah, I'll come in here. Cause you guys are willing to, and you don't even know what a TIF is. So I would highly suggest that, the TIF.
Go ahead.
Just a couple things. The city council, I think, really is, they've all educated themselves on a TIF district. A number of meetings, things they've read, the attorney's been at a number of meetings, so I'm pretty
Did
sure.
you go and talk to
I'm
an
sure
actual
they're-
like person
I would've-
at a
I'm
TIF?
sure that they're very educated, and I'm not sure why you would say that they're not, but they've gone through a series of meetings
Because
and
the
education.
questions that were said here tonight, because of the extension, that's automatically, they can extend it another 12 years. And it's 23 years, and they can be extended 12. And you're acting like you can work with him, and he can do whatever he wants.
And also the levies that we do, and we haven't raised our levy for a long time, but those are done in dollar amounts. So the school, if they levied $1 million this year, they ask for that and they got $1 million, and they do it next year with the TIF district in place, if it were to be in place, they would still get their $1 million. They levy in dollar amounts.
Living
You
in
don't-
percentages.
No, you don't. You levy, if you were to look at the school's ordinance or our tax levy ordinance, it asks for a dollar amount. And then that's calculated ultimately by the county.
I think you really need to look more
If
into
they levy
this.
$15 million, they're gonna get their $15 million regardless. This shopping center.
Every year it goes up though. The
This shop,
costs go up.
this shopping center.
And they'll not be able to get those costs now because the money, they're stuck. They're at that much. The cost increase every year, it goes up, especially for schools. So now they don't have that, so they're gonna have to go to referendums and stuff like that. They'll have to make up, there will be an impact to the municipality, to the library, to those that get that money. Yes, there is. It's not like it's coming from the taxpayers too. The taxpayers are funding this. Why are we funding his project?
It would happen exactly what's happening now as the value of that property that was in the report, as that's been declining the last 4 years.
Right.
Exactly.
It's been empty all this time.
But that's exactly what's happening now. The school has not lost money because it's declined in value, because they levy in dollar amounts.
So why do you care now that it's declining when I've been here for 10 years and I've
We
seen
have
it
been,
the
we have
same
been
way?
working for the last 6 years to work with an owner to put new stores, new businesses within that center. Our Economic Development Committee has not neglected this. This has been a priority. It's one of our key development areas. And we have worked with previous owners to try to get new businesses in there. Now we have a new owner who is willing to spend money to improve the center. That property has gone from being worth almost $7 million in 2019 to $3 million in 2025. That there's a loss of over $3 million in value that has already impacted the school district, but the school district is still getting their money. If that center went bye-bye tomorrow, we're closed.
It's been sitting empty, and I look at the city like, okay, so you have all these rules for residents, can't have your garbage cans out, can't look like this in front of your house, but you can let that sit there empty.
Now you're talking apples and oranges, Heather. We're talking about a TIF. We're talking about the
Yeah,
reason
and I'm
for
saying
it.
don't do it, and I'm saying there's ordinances to say, hey, you better keep up that shopping mall. And then there are cities that have put things in because I could just leave it empty and then it's a tax write-off, especially when I have 35 other shopping malls, and this one's a little one. This is nothing. So this is like this, and now you're funding it. So I think you need to look deeply into all of this.
We've done our due diligence, don't worry about that. We have. And as far as Alderman Gustafson, that's not a decision we made. That's state statute that governs whether or not somebody can participate.
That was a vote that was taken
No, it was a
there.
vote. You put it as a
That was a
motion,
vote.
and
because-
if anyone had made the motion and then seconded it,
That
he
was a
could have
vote.
joined.
That's because that
That's ridiculous. I don't care if he's in Bermuda. If he's my representative, I want him there. Why,
Heather,
why would
there's
you
a-
not in this day and age? You act like everybody like stays here and works here, and I'm out and about all over the place. This is the future we're moving towards. But Darien is stuck in the past a little bit, actually a lot, and it's becoming more and more.
Are
And
you
you're
aware
just-
that there is a state statute that governs attendance by the elected officials at meetings?
Yes, and it says that if it was for
You need to call
work.
the Illinois Attorney General's office, is what you need to do, Brian,
Because
and
Heather,
get
there-
educated.
Like, and who, honestly, in this day and age, when nobody is like participating or doing stuff, and you have somebody that is, and you say, no, because why? Why? He can join remote in this day and age. You can join remote. What if you guys are sick, so you can't come anymore?
Attorney General's
It was,
office.
I mean,
it was
it's
determined that
ridiculous.
Alderman Gustafson did not meet the definition.
That's not true.
That's not true. He was working. I don't care if he's working for whoever.
But it's
He's
not-
working-
Illinois
not-
Attorney General's
It's not up
office,
to you, Heather.
that's
We
not a
follow
true
state
statement.
statute. Alderman Gustafson had an opportunity to discuss with the city
He
council
made a
his
motion.
situation, and it does not meet the statute.
He made a motion and it wasn't picked up. That's what happened. He made a motion and not one person picked it up and said,
Thank you.
I second that motion. I vote for it. Not one of you.
Doesn't comply with state statute.
Yeah.
There's very good reason.
So
It's a
Darien, I'm
conflict.
seeing like a pattern with
Three
Darien
minutes.
of like thinking in the past, not thinking outside the box, and then just going with the big guy over here and giving him money. So yes, you are funding a guy worth millions of dollars. $60 million is the estimate. He has multiple locations that are huge. This is a little tiny thing. And you want to give our tax money and hurt the schools and hurt the libraries and all that. You want to divert. You want to divert taxes that would have gone to that. That's what you're doing.
I think
You're also taking advantage of saying it's a blighted condition when you have control over ordinances and saying, hey, let's do some target research and let's call up a target research company and get them in there. That's a thing too. Look up what else could we do but a TIF. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Takes us to approval. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir.
My name's Steve Kimmy, and I hate to say it because there's several wonderful people here who've been here for double digits. I've only been here with my wife, I've only been here for 7 years, but we love Darien, we love it inside and out. I mean, we targeted this place, we wanted to move here. And with that in mind, unfortunately for the gentleman over there, I think the e-bikes that were invading his neighborhood were coming from my block. So I'm sorry about that, sir. It's not my kids, so, but I'm turning into the 64-year-old man, but I'm 59. I haven't seen what you proposed for the e-bike ordinance, but may I say that I believe it was, I could be wrong, but it's one of the northern burbs, I believe Elk Grove Village,
Yeah.
has a very strong
Yeah.
e-bike ordinance, very strong. I think that's something that we should look at. There's other ones that are nearby who are considering or have adopted something, and putting it politely, it's a very soft ordinance, almost. Well, you kind of sort of can, or we think you should, or it's kind of advised. No, with them being all kamikazes darting in and out of everything. And I know what you're talking about. One gentleman was talking about them backing up out of your driveway. Heaven forbid one of the kids gets hit because a 12, 11, 13-year-old, they don't have the, maybe the term is acumen, they don't have the thought process of someone who's gone through, say, driver's ed, who's 15, 16, 17 years old, who can look out for those things, or at least be cognizant of those things. So I would hate for something like that to happen. It's annoying. They're just as annoying as the gasoline-powered motorcycles that we have, the dirt bikes that are going around in our neighborhood, which I know that's illegal, so. So I'm asking, I don't know what the ordinance looks like, so if I'm spouting something that being rhetorical, whatever, please let this ordinance be very strong, because it's for everybody. It's for the residents, it's for people my age, and it's even for the young kids. It needs to be strong. And I get it that this may have to be rolled out in stages where we say, all right, well, first 6 months, we'll give the kids a little bit of a warning ticket or something like that. But and I know you would have to go to the schools and say, hey, this is coming. I get that part, but it still needs to be strong. When it's finally said and done, it needs to be strong. So whatever's proposed, please, for the sake of Darien, for the sake of our well-being and our residential neighborhoods, we'd like to keep them nice, clean residential neighborhoods. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. I think that's it. Approval of the minutes for June 16th, 2025. Motion to approve. Alderman Shower, second by Alderman Legansky. Any questions or comments? Roll.
Shower.
Aye.
Legansky.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Abstain.
Stompanato.
Abstain.
Sullivan.
Aye.
5 ayes and 2 abstentions.
The minutes have been approved. Takes us to receiving of communications. Do any of the aldermen have communications they'd like to share with the council? Alderman Shower.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I got a couple emails from Deborah Markovich of the 8170 block of Chapman Court. Real briefly, she had asked what are the specific details when it comes to noise ordinances as well as construction ordinances. Had some neighbors on the street that was doing construction around 6:30 at night. And from what I remember, I don't think there's any ordinances against that, but she wanted me to bring it on up and just as a reiteration, that was one thing. And the other thing is, and this affects pretty much everybody during the summertime, some neighbors are having parties in the backyard. Kind of looks like a water park from what I understand, and we're not sure how late the parties can go and what are the noise ordinances with that. So if anybody could jump on in and tell me the updates, that'd be great, so.
Jason, if I'm not mistaken, noise ordinances, they're allowed to go till 7:30, does that sound about right? I know it changes on the weekends as well, I have to look up the exact ordinance, but it is on the city council, or the city website. Really for noise in general, if it's for a party, especially after hours, dark time, if it's something of, it's obnoxious, if you will, we'll call, someone can call, we can assess it for sure, but it really is kind of a touch and feel thing. There's not anything set in stone.
That's kind of what I thought too at the same time. So when in doubt, call the police, let you guys make the decision.
100% call us.
You know, Ted, I had something like that a couple years ago. It was like in the middle of the day, somebody was running a circular saw that needed maintenance big time. You know, it was just squealing and it was noise. So, yeah, we contacted and he was doing it outside and we're like, listen, we'll help move it into your garage and you can close the door to do something to mitigate the noise. So
Exactly.
even regardless of time of day, Ted, I've had it in my ward and I've just instructed neighbors to just call.
Exactly.
There's no, like, I know we've had issues in years past, like pool parties and noise level, and there's no decibel per se, like on our ordinance that says, you know, if your noise is above such and such a decibel. You know, but typically if people aren't being neighborly, you know, respectful, or like it's happening way too early in the day or way too late. I know with the outdoor patio at Carriage Greens, because it is in a residential neighborhood, pretty much, you know, I've been advised that there should be no outdoor music playing after 10 p.m. on a weekday, on a weekend, I'm sorry, not on a weekday.
Nice. Perfect. Yeah, the moral of the story, if you have a question, call the police. You guys assess it. So, thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman Ken?
I did have a communication there. Heather called me about her, what she talked about tonight, and I invited her to come speak to us tonight. So that was my communication.
Okay. Mary?
Thank you. I did receive a couple communications from a resident on Lake Ridge, Kelly Glisson. Just, I myself have seen and taken the opportunity while walking my dog to remove many of the signs that have been put up. They look like yard signs, but they're being fastened to every light pole, stop sign, everywhere, from the windows to the nail shops, and you know, excessive telemarketing, and he just has expressed grave concern about it, and you know, what can we do as a city? Obviously removing it, and if people are going door to door, there has been a lot. We had that happening after the storms a year ago with the roof people, and now there's other people going door to door that they all clearly should have a permit, you know, that they have gotten from the city, allowing them to go door to door. You can get, you know, a no soliciting sign from the city to put up. But yeah, definitely, I've talked to Dan, I've talked to Municipal Services, and anywhere there are illegal signs posted, just like when it's election time, if it's on city right-of-ways, they will be removing them. So, but we did have a conversation back and forth, and I did get him some information about that. And then just a general statement, but it does, I guess it's not really communication, but it is about communication, and it's about finding communication in the right places. And I think the most important thing is to go to the source and to either attend or watch city council meetings, read information on the city website that is published, and attend park district meetings, the library board. There is such a thing as called the Open Meetings Act, which is why we as elected officials are having meetings, and we need to attend in person by state statute so that we can have these conversations. And reading things next door and in the patch can be very misleading and ill-informed, and not the whole picture. So maybe if you read something, then it's time to further explore and go to the source. One thing I have found is I've given guidance to residents to go to the source, whether it's city staff, police, detectives have gone out to homes to inform residents about their rights. We have a city that's very willing to sit down and meet with you face to face and get you the information you need. And I encourage residents to do that and not just read social media, Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor snippets, because it can be very misleading.
Anyone else? Okay, takes us to the mayor's report. The only thing I'd like to mention under the mayor's report, a lot of you know that we ran a summer internship program this summer. We had 3 students from Hinsdale South High School all going into their senior year. They were interviewed by staff at Hinsdale South, and then April and I had an opportunity to interview them at this end. During that 6-week period, they spent a week with Mr. Vanna, they spent a week with Mr. Gombeck, they spent a week with Mr. Murphy, they spent a week with the police department. I believe Paulina worked with them at the police department. They spent another week with me in terms of elected officials. They met with people from the state, Bill County, and they spent a week working on what's called their capstone project, which they'll present to you on August 4th. We'll also have some Board of Education members here that night, as well as staff from Hinsdale South High School. I'm really happy with the way this program worked out. My thanks to Jason and the people at the police department, Mr. Conveck, Mr. Murphy, Mr. Vanna, for taking time out of their day to work with these people. I think you guys got more out of it than the kids enjoyed it. And what was really remarkable, there was a panel where we had elected officials there, and they asked questions. They have questions printed out, and they actually asked questions referencing things that they learned in previous weeks. They asked a question about tier 1, tier 2. Shamir asked a question where he posed a situation that he had learned something from Mr. Vanna. And as a former teacher, when students recall previous learning, you know that you're getting through. And I was very excited about the program. Hopefully next year, we'll be able to offer it to the Downers Grove South students as well, and maybe double the enrollment. But many thanks to the people who took their time to do that. And they'll be back August 4th, and they'll be making a presentation to you guys as well as school board members on August 4th. And that's my mayor's report. City clerk report, Joanne?
No report this evening.
Mr. Vanna?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one comment. Alderwoman Sullivan mentioned going to the source, getting documents, and I think that's also very important. There's a couple issues that came up tonight that we certainly have documentation on. I will tell you that Dave Giuliani from the press several weeks ago FOIA'd a number of interoffice emails along with the tape of the workshop session where the city council talked about Alderman Gustafson's attendance, if that was permitted by statute and by ordinance. We have that documentation. One of our residents today talked about the TIF district, and certainly everybody's entitled to their opinion. Not everybody loves TIF districts, but certainly we have documentation to show how a TIF district does comply with state statute and the different criteria. And as the mayor mentioned, there's many communities, not just the south suburbs, that have used TIF districts. But again, I think the point is, if you want documentation, you want information, please call. There's a number of calls I get. Somebody might call and leave a message, I want to know when the garbage day is. So I always tell residents, if they don't know who to call, just call me. Obviously you can call your elected official, but if you want to know anything, you can call me, and residents have, and it happens more often than you would think it happens. But that's good, and then either I can get the answer, or we can get the people or the residents to the right person to answer, or the garbage company. But again, I think the key point is there is documentation for things. Again, regarding the TIF district, there's minutes and on video of the meetings and printouts from the city attorney about TIF districts. And again, it's all documented. If people want documents, just give me a call and we can make sure that you get any of the public documents you're entitled to. That's all here. Thank you.
Thank you. Department head information and questions. Any questions for Deputy Chief Norton or for Mr. Gondek? Anything you guys like to add, Jason or Dan?
No report this evening, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I can have two things. I just want to mention that Sergeant Doug Rummick graduated Staff and Command, which is a fairly prestigious academy that we send our supervisors to. And recently we did have an organizational change where there are now two deputy chiefs. Austin Jump was appointed to the operations deputy chief position. That was formerly my position, if you will. I will be now handling the support services, so there are two of us now.
Congratulations to both of you.
Hey, Dan, quick question. When does the Shell station start for the rehab?
I'm not sure if they've got their permits in yet.
They just completed their first review of their grading plan and their building plans.
Okay.
There were minimal comments, so we're running up on fall. I don't know exactly when they'll start, but they should have their permits within a month or two.
Sounds good, thank you.
Okay. Takes us to the treasurer's report. Michael, we have two warrants tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, I'm requesting council's approval of warrant number 252605 in the amount of $1,126,726 from the listed funds, payroll for the period ended June 26th in the amount of $328,172.53. Total will be approved $1,454,898.53.
Motion to approve. Alderman Belzak, seconded by Alderwoman Sullivan. Questions or comments? I know that we didn't have a chance to go through this in the work session, so if you have anything, please note it now. Not the roll.
Belzak.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Stompanato.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Legansky.
Aye.
7 ayes.
The warrant's been approved. Mike?
Requesting council's approval of warrant number 252606, $1,199,903.03 from the listed funds. Payroll for the period ended July 7th in the amount of $362,136.45. Total be approved of $1,562,039.48.
Motion to approve, Alderman Stompanato, second by Alderman Shower. Again, any questions or comments? If none, the roll.
Stompanato.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Aye.
Legansky.
Aye.
7 ayes.
The warrant has been approved. Takes us to standing committee reports. Do any of the chairmen have reports tonight? Alderman Kenny.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. The police committee met this evening and we passed the minutes for May 19th, 2025 and April 21st, 2025, and we submitted them to the clerk's office this evening. Our next meeting is slated for Monday, August 18th at 6 p.m. across the parking lot in the police training room, pending agenda items.
Mike, you have something?
Oh, no, I'm just, for the police pension meeting, the quarterly meeting is scheduled for July 31st at 6 o'clock across the street in the police training room. It is anticipated that Foster and Foster will be presenting their actuarial report at that meeting. It's also in conflict. You're going to be torn between the actuarial report and the Oceans Rat Pack that night, I think, is running
Darien
simultaneously.
concert, yeah.
I know where I'm going.
Mike, do you know if we'll get that document before the meeting though?
The
Really, the numbers?
No, it's not anticipated before that meeting. After I get them, I mean, I would be happy to present to the council and the actuary will come to we'll have them to the city
Right.
council meeting.
But I mean, we provide our packet and things, materials prior to the meeting. I don't know if.
For prior to the police
Prior-
pension
yeah,
meeting.
just
I
to
have-
look at that number.
I have not been getting it. All they've been giving me is the agenda, so I have not been
Still,
getting
okay.
the packet. Jason, do you know whether the actuarial report will be provided
I don't know.
with the agenda?
I'm not certain at this point. It was fairly recent that I confirmed he was actually gonna be at our meeting, so I don't know for sure.
Okay. Mary?
The next administrative finance meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 4th at 6 p.m. in the City Hall Conference Room.
Thank you. Alderman Belzak?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Municipal Services Committee had a special meeting today prior to our meeting tonight. And we approved all 4 items on our agenda. 2 of those items are on new business today. They were unanimously approved, so I don't know when we get to the consent and new business whether we want to move items B and C, which were approved on tonight's Municipal Services Committee meeting, to consent or not, but it's a decision we can make in a few minutes. We will still be having our regular Municipal Services meeting next Monday, July 28th at 6 p.m. in Council Chambers.
Would it be okay if most people agree if we would move item B and C under new business to item N and L?
And
Is
that
that
was
okay?
regarding the
Okay.
purchase of a
Right.
utility line locator and the variation for having EVs.
At Brookhaven.
Thank you. We'll do that then. All right. Takes us to questions and comments, agenda related. Now, we've had a lot of comments already regarding our agenda, so I think we'll wait until we actually have the items. Move to old business, there being none, we move to the consent agenda, so please bear with me. Joanne, remind me if I forget those other 2 items. Item A, consideration of a motion to grant a waiver of the raffle license bond requirement for the Darien District 61 Educational Foundation. Item B, consideration of a motion accepting the unit price proposal from St. Aubin Nursery and Landscaping Incorporated for the purchase and installation of the 2025 Parkway Tree Program in an amount not to exceed $130,465. Item C, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the city administrator to execute an amended intergovernmental antenna and equipment space agreement with the DuPage Public Safety Communications, or DUCOM, for telecommunication equipment on the Darien Cell Tower site located at 1041 South Frontage Road. Consideration of a motion approving to execute a contract with Compass Minerals America Incorporated for the purchase of rock salt in an amount not to exceed $109,582.92. Item E, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Darien and Center Cass School District 66 for rock salt. Item F, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Darien and the Darien Park District for rock salt. Item G, consideration of a motion accepting a quote from Goldilocks Incorporated to remove and install a new main door, including, or it says man door down, but I think you mean main door, including the door, frame, and hardware at the Public Works Water Plant 2 at a cost not to exceed $5,246.05. Item H, consideration of a motion authorizing the purchase of 6 new Schoenstedt GA92 XTD locators with hard cases from Midwest Surveying Instruments Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $7,158. Item I, consideration of a motion accepting a proposal from Apex Industrial Automation for the purchase, removal, and installation of 4 variable frequency drives at Plant 2 and 75th Street in an amount not to exceed $28,920.34. Item J, consideration of a motion accepting a proposal from Connolly Electric for the purchase, removal, and installation of 3 backup generators at City Hall, the Police Department, and Water Plant 2 in an amount not to exceed $493,000 and a contingency in the amount of $15,000 for unforeseen related items. Item K, consideration of a motion authorizing private property stormwater management assistant projects and the Sawyer Drive Public Works Storm Sewer Project in an amount not to exceed $152,079. Item L, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution approving the 2025 City of Darien zoning map for publication. Item M, consideration of a motion accepting the expenditure of budget funds to purchase services from Flock Safety to maintain the automatic license plate readers in the amount of $27,000. Item N, consideration of a motion accepting a proposal for the purchase of 1 new radio detection RD 8200 SG survey grade receiver utility line locator with GIS capabilities and training from Subsurface Solutions in an amount not to exceed $14,346. And item O, consideration of a motion to approve an ordinance approving a variation from the Darien zoning ordinance PZC 2025-14 for 7516 Cass Avenue. Motion to approve. Alderman Shower, second by Alderman Belzak, and the roll.
Shower.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Leganski.
Aye.
Henny.
Aye.
Stompanato.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Consent agenda has been approved. That takes us to new business. Item A, consideration of a motion to approve an ordinance adding Chapter 10 to the Title 9 of Traffic Regulations of the City of Darien Code. Motion to approve. Item Alderman Shower, second by Alderman Kenny, and discussion. Alderman Leganski.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm in favor of what we're trying to do here and what we're starting. At the same time, I am open to looking, into it further if we need to have more restrictions in terms of age and things like that. So I think it's something we need to get started with, but I think it's, as we monitor it and see what's going on, I want to just ask if the council's open to, just something to consider if we need to modify it down the road.
Mary?
Thank you. This is something, we've been talking about for a couple months now. Obviously, a lot of our neighboring communities have come out with additional regulations and ordinance beyond what the state does. And I believe too that this is a great starting point. And I do feel that we might need to, in time, go even stricter. But I'd hate to see us not do anything right now when we already have something in front of us that's been vetted by our police department and pulled together. But I did, obviously Alderman sit on the police committee that Alderman Kenny chairs, and a couple other of us attended today, which is great dialogue. I am very grateful for the resident that's come a couple times now to present and share his own firsthand witness experiences, and even shared some video with us earlier today. I think anybody who lives in Darien, and we all do live in Darien, we're all residents and taxpayers, so we see firsthand what's going on. And with it being summer, it's like a free-for-all. I really think this regulation is a great starting point, but potentially we will have to eventually put even more stricter reinforcements and higher penalties to make people really take action. And what's going to really be important once we hopefully proceed is communicating it. Communication is going to be key. Obviously, educating the students who are the ones riding these e-bikes and e-scooters recklessly in schools. Clearly, they must not have attended Safety Village, because Cindy Hagan would have, God bless her, would be rolling over in her grave knowing that these kids are like, my gosh, my kids were teen leaders too. And so it's just the education. I think Darien Fest is going to be a great place to hopefully get the word out, and just let people know that there's regulations in place, there's recourse, and really the parents need to parent. And I'm a parent, and you just need to educate your children on safety. And at the end of the day, we don't want to see anyone hurt or, God forbid, a fatality. And we're inching that way with the way this is going.
Mayor, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. One more thing too is I cannot stress enough to the residents: do not hesitate to call 911 anytime you see anything that you think is reckless, or someone acting in a reckless way, looking at their phone, not paying attention, running through stop signs. People always tell me, well, it's too late. By the time the cops come, they're gone. Well, it doesn't matter. Get on record, call. If we see a pattern of a certain time, the police department is phenomenal. Whenever I've had issues in my ward of speeding or anything else, and we document it, and we call, I can't tell you how many times I see a police car there monitoring the situation. So again, nothing's gonna be perfect. This ordinance isn't gonna solve everything, but people should never be reluctant to call 911 and to get it on record, so we have data, we have times, we have specific dates of when things are happening, and we can start to enforce this. Like Mary said, it's communication, but enforcement has to come from the 23,000 eyes we have out there in our community. We just have to not be reluctant to call 911 when you see anything that is happening from an unsafe standpoint, regardless. It doesn't even be with this, with people revving their cars or speeding or whatever. Again, people, because the first thing I always hear is, well, by the time they come, they're gone and I can't see them. That's fine, but we have to at least get, I'm a big believer in data. Everyone knows that. So get it on record, get the data going, and we can start to understand where are these problems happening. If it's in Ralph's ward where he sees a lot on Clarendon Hills Road, or it's me on Nantucket, we all have our hot spots where those things are happening. So I cannot stress enough, just call 911. Thank you.
Michael?
It sounds like one of the common threads running through here is communication. Is it possible to reach out to our contacts at the schools? So at the beginning of the school year, maybe they can have a 15-minute session saying, hey, Darien has passed these new rules now. I think it would be a great way of getting that information out to the kids. Because the kids, I don't know how they would get this information otherwise. Yeah, maybe their parents are giving them some guidance, but I think considering the incidents we've been having, it's probably not getting out there too much.
I think something at National Night Out would be appropriate as well. I think that'd be a good time to get out information. I think parents need to know these. Parents are the ones that are gonna enforce it. I mean, the kids, I know parents who will tell their kids, be careful, don't do this, and they will follow what mom and dad say. I think that the parents need to.
What's that one name?
Mary.
Well, the
Scott.
parents are the ones that have bought the vehicles that these
Kids are
young
riding.
kids, and I think, I've witnessed, I mean, these aren't 16-year-olds who have their driver's license. I mean, I think the average age is probably between 12 and 14. So I do think Mike's got a valid point, and like, you know, the school year starts earlier than ever now. It starts in the middle of August. I mean, basically 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now, kids are back in school. And it'd be great if, you know, the beginning of the school year, whether it's, you know, what's a class everyone takes, gym, health, you know, orientation time. If we, as a city, can provide the schools with an electronic copy of a one-page fact sheet, which a lot of communities have published. I know the city has examples, Brian has been looking into it. Is just, yes, getting that aware, because especially in my ward, a lot of junior high students bike to Cass Junior High. So, you know, that's something that we just want to make sure, you know, and also reinforce that please don't cut through Carriage Greens Country Club.
I think the thing that people need to be reminded of, different communities are passing different forms of ordinances regarding this. So you could have one type of enforcement in Darien, and let's say everybody follows that, and then the kid rides into Willowbrook, and there's a different enforcement there, and there might be a different enforcement in Westmont, and there might be a different enforcement in Burr Ridge. I think what's gonna make everything stronger is when communities work together and they have a common set of rules with regard to e-bikes, because even if you're an adult and you're following Darien's rules and you go into another community and they have something that says you're violating, how do you know that? You don't know that. So I think that as mayors, we need to share this information with one another so that we know in Darien, I can tell Frank Trilla in Burr Ridge or Steve Nero in Westmont, this is what we're doing in Darien. I know Greg Hart has been very open about what they're doing in Hinsdale, but I think that communication is not just with the kids, but that communication needs to be with one municipality with another municipality. Ted?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I could not believe this, and very few things bother me, but this one was so egregious. I was almost tempted to turn and follow him, and I said, no, don't do this, call the police if you ever get into this. So this is a reiteration to everybody that's gonna see some crazy stuff on e-bikes. What I saw, I was traveling eastbound on 75th Street, right in front of Clarendon Hills Road and 75th. Two kids come down Clarendon Hills Road going north. The first kid is on the e-bike doing a wheelie, standing on the seat with his other leg kicked on out, and the other kid behind him was turning around just following him. I don't know if he was doing a video or not, I don't care, all right? I have never seen anything like it, all right? It was so bad, it was one of those situations where if for a moment I wanted to follow him, and I'm like, no, you don't do that, you call the police. This is what's gonna probably end up happening, you're gonna see some crazy stuff out there. But this ordinance that we're doing tonight is a starting point, and we might have to get tougher on it. But if we can control it right now and prevent somebody from getting hurt, because I could not even believe, there's no helmets, there's no nothing. And these kids were probably 14 years old, so I'll leave it at that.
Tom?
I was reading an article in the Tribune a couple weeks ago about this, and about Elk Grove Village cracking down on e-bikes. And they stated that under Illinois law, any electric bike that goes faster than 20 miles an hour, which would I believe be the level 3, class 3 bikes, you must be 16. Now, I believe our ordinance is silent on that. I guess asking Jason, if a 15-year-old was riding a bike that was a violation of Illinois law, you would still be able to ticket them or do whatever's necessary.
Based on the law, right. There is nothing in our ordinance at this point that stipulates the age.
Are you aware, does the state of Illinois have an ordinance regarding you must be 16 for electric bikes?
So the state basically says that if we don't pass anything, then everything is.
So I just want to make sure us passing something doesn't void the state of Illinois, and I think Mr. Darien said the same thing earlier about, and if that's the case, I would ask that we add the age restriction to level 3 bikes Because I don't want them to say, well, under Illinois law, I don't do it. But now that you say any age can do it, I don't wanna run that problem. So is this trumping Illinois law or is this just coinciding with Illinois law?
It's a great question. I don't have an answer for you.
I'd say we add it just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, and the 16 also applies to scooters. That's in the Illinois law.
Then I think we
need to
would
understand
need
this a little better, I think.
to add, I'd like to get it passed today, but I think I would like to add.
And come back and amend it later.
Well,
No,
do
we
need to
amend it
amend
tonight.
Can we amend it on its face to,
Right.
under level 3 to create, users must be 16 years of age, just one sentence at the end of class 3.
And also, Ralph brought it up at the police
Right.
meeting about the scooters
The
too.
personal mobility devices, just add that into that paragraph. That by Illinois law, low-speed electric scooters. Now they say may not be operated without a driver's license, instruction permit, or state identification card. So you don't have to have a license, you can have a state ID. And unless the person is 16 years of age or older. And that's for the little scooters with skateboards with a stick on them.
I like that description.
That go 20 miles an hour while I'm cutting the grass and come flying by me and almost knock me over. And then also,
At least 2 weeks, it's tough with the state.
Yes.
You added that 16 years, you added that, right?
no, the 16 is state law.
So it's in there.
Yes, yes.
But it's not written in our ordinance,
Right.
but it is in the state's
But doesn't
ordinance.
state law supersede?
That's what we just, in abundance of caution, I think we should add it to
I
ours.
think, I
I
agree.
want it to be interpreted as we're doing less because we
Right.
don't have the age,
Okay.
I think was the
I
point.
wanna do less than state.
And once we do get this crafted, it also came up at our police meeting, I think Mary brought it up. It may warrant a individual mailing to the residents, I don't know what that costs, but because there's gonna be so much confusion, and you're right, everybody is telling me what Hinsdale is doing, which isn't quite what Hinsdale is doing, but similar. And I think that they get a letter that says, here's the new thing, or have it posted on the website, reference it if you have any questions. Just to let everybody know that there is something in place in Darien.
All right, so I'm gonna ask for a motion to amend, add 16 years.
You have to find the place within the ordinance where it needs to be incorporated.
Ralph,
In the paragraph that says personal and in parentheses micro mobility device.
what's the number, 910 Ralph?
Let
No,
me
it's
see if
not,
it's
it's
got a
right
number.
here. I see the personal
Yeah.
mobility
It's
device.
after the,
Because then whoever created this ordinance is the one who needs to update it for us then. So where does it have to be inserted, Ralph?
it could be right at the end. That no person may operate a low-speed electric scooter. You wanna add without the driver's license, just like the state?
I think just the
I think just the
16
age.
Okay.
16 years of age or older.
Unless he or she is 16 years of age or older.
Cause there's a lot of, that
Yeah.
are not getting driver's license.
Right,
It's
right,
more
right.
and more common, so I don't wanna just say you need a driver's license, but
Right.
the age is fine.
All right, so we need a motion to amend, Joanne?
Right, we have the first motion, now we need the motion to amend, yes.
Moved by Alderman Stompanato, seconded by Alderman Legansky. Any discussion?
One point that came up at the committee meeting too, this applies to the Darien streets, we have a number of county streets, 75th Street, that come through Darien. That without some, probably without an intergovernmental agreement, it would not apply to the county roads.
State law would.
State law would.
Right.
But our ordinance wouldn't.
Now, I think his point is if you're 15 and riding on state road, they can cite them under the state ordinance.
Correct.
I think that
Because
that would be
Darien's
true.
right.
I think the part of the problem was we don't know their rules and we don't want to conflict, so we probably would need to talk to them with some agreement to.
I have a question because I don't know, is it obvious on what a level 3 bike is compared to a level 2 bike? I don't know.
But they're supposed to be marked.
Yeah.
Is it marked on the
They're
bike?
marked, supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
There are
Well, I understand what they're doing, but the bikes actually have a level on them.
Correct. That and their wattage, the speed, the which class they are.
All right, we have a motion and a second to amend adding 16 years old
And that's for the scooter,
for the
the
scooter.
personal mobility device, and then we need to amend.
We need to amend also in regard to the
Well, let's,
the level
let's,
3.
No, do all the amendments at one time.
okay. So now we need an amendment to add personal mobility.
I've got that one. Where's the other one going in now?
That's a good question.
Under class 3, low-speed electric bicycle, 910-1,
910-1.
that's where it says class 3.
Yeah. But that's more of a definition. Rather than,
S1, S2, S3.
I think it would have to be in 910-3 somewhere.
You looking at our 910-3, Tom?
Yeah.
Should it just be?
Or do we just add a item K then?
Could we add an item K
Yeah.
at the 16, right?
Yes.
And include both the scooter and class 3?
It might be a
There you
simple
go,
way of doing it.
yeah.
Yeah, just make it all there,
Right.
age requirement.
And don't put it up in the definition part, just add a K and turn it into
It's on page
Individuals under
5,
the age of
Joanne.
16 are prohibited from riding a
Prohibited
scooter
Okay.
or
on level 3,
It's on
class
page
3
4.
class 3.
bike.
So we're gonna, an item K, that includes all the devices we want, where they have to be 16 or older, correct?
Right.
Right.
And then Jason, you'll make sure that the PD updates the ordinance? Thank you.
All right,
We can vote on the amendment first.
okay. We have a motion and a
Yes,
second.
I do.
Let's have the roll.
Okay, Stompanato,
Aye.
Legansky.
Aye.
Kenny,
Aye.
Shower,
Aye.
Sullivan,
Hi,
Gustafson,
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Okay, the amendment's passed. Now let's have a vote on the original item A.
Shower,
Aye.
Kenny,
Aye.
Stompanato,
Aye.
Legansky.
Aye.
Gustafson,
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Sullivan,
hi.
7 ayes.
All right, item A has been approved. That takes us to item B. Consideration of a motion to approve an ordinance establishment of a tax increment financing interested parties registry and adopting of registration rules for the registry. Motion to approve. Alderman Belzak, second by Alderman Stompanato. Any discussion?
Just so people know, and we talked about this earlier tonight, this is not TIF going into tonight. These are just steps going forward to
Correct.
basically create a public hearing so that a resident at that point can also come back and decide what we're doing. So this is not, we're not voting on a TIF tonight.
Mary?
I feel like we need to see this through. We've already invested money in the study and the exploration, and I think it's important that we continue the education process with ourselves, the community, and our vested partners and our other taxing bodies to, go through this, because whether the TIF proceeds or not, I think it's something that's gonna happen again down the road. And so I think in order to really get the most bang for our buck and what we've invested in time and money in exploring a TIF, we should see it through, the entire process through.
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, I think Mary's right. I think we should see the process through. This, my vote tonight does not mean that I'm gonna be voting for the TIF later on, so. This is just the process itself that we should follow.
Okay. So noted. We have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Let's have the roll call.
Belzak.
Aye.
Stompanato.
Aye.
Sullivan,
Hi,
Gustafson,
Aye.
Legansky.
Aye.
Shower,
Aye.
Kenny,
Aye.
7 ayes.
Okay, the item's been approved. Item C, consideration of a motion for an ordinance calling for a public hearing to consider designation of a redevelopment project area for the city of Darien, Page County, Illinois, known as Chestnut Court Shopping Center Tax Increment Financing District. Motion to approve, Alderman Belzak, second by Alderman Kenny. Discussion.
Same,
Same.
process, we're in process.
Process.
Absolutely.
Okay. Roll call then, Joanne?
Belzak.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Aye.
Leganski.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Capinato.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
7 ayes.
The item has been approved. Takes us to questions, comments, and announcements of a general nature. Anybody have anything they'd like to add? Mary?
Just a reminder that the city of Darien does have a communication survey out there. It's been published in Direct Connect, it's been published on Facebook. And just urging the citizens, this is an opportunity, does not take very long to give the city much needed feedback on our communication tools that we use. And so I highly encourage people to do that. There's no specific deadline, but I know the city is looking to get to a certain number of feedback from residents. So if you could, I'm sure it'll be back in this week's Direct Connect, but it's on the city's website. Please go ahead and do that. And then the next Darien concert is July 31st at Westwood Park. Unless you want to come hear the actuary at the police pension meeting. I think it'll be, the first concert was a huge success. I'm sure the second one will be, as long as the Mother Nature cooperates with us. It's the Rat Pack. I think it'll be a great night. Let's come out and have a good evening doing that.
Okay, anyone else? Ralph?
In continuation of the collaboration with the Park District, I'm gonna be working with Luann Spiros as kind of liaisons for the city and the Park District. And we're gonna be meeting the second week of August just to get the conversation continuing, and I'll keep the council abreast.
I don't think they've had a meeting this summer. I think that's why you haven't heard from them.
Right.
Thanks for doing that, Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph, thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the process.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Motion to adjourn. Alderman Shower, second by Alderman Kenny, all in favor?
Aye.
Isn't there a resident comment thing before you adjourn? According to the agenda, there's comments afterwards also?
You asked.
I asked questions and comments and announcement. Nobody answered.
I thought you were talking to the city council.
That's everybody.
Everybody.
May I?
Sure.
Come on up. We didn't mean to exclude you, sorry about that.
We'll always listen to you, Nick.
I'm sorry?
We'll always listen to you.
Well, everybody
Thank
spoke
you.
the first time too, so I didn't really think, yeah, okay, but.
So there's something in here that adds a little cloudiness to safety, okay? Because according to the regulations, e-bikes are not allowed on sidewalks or trails, only in the streets. So we've got class 1 and class 2 e-bikes with kids under 16 years old that are limited to the streets. And where we've seen the e-bikes is on the sidewalks and on the trails. And so, it's something that, how do you resolve that, So that's the way the regulation goes. Also, there's very little in here about parental responsibility. Unless these kids have a good grass cutting job, they're not buying the e-bikes, mom and dad are. And so, we're talking about fines from, $25 to, who gets fined, the parents? So it doesn't really say who gets fined, you're not gonna fine a kid $750. So how practical is it to, for the police to enforce these regulations?
So if we were to receive a call, or if we were to find individuals riding an e-bike in that capacity, we stop, have conversation, assuming they stop, right? And I think Alderman Stoppanato asked about this in the police committee where we do make contact with the parents. We're dealing with juveniles predominantly.
You do stop someone, you do?
We certainly make the effort. I can't tell you that the parents are gonna answer the phone every time, but that's what I would like to see happen on a routine basis, and for the most part, I think that is what our MO is.
So I think in executing these regulations, that's really important, so, yeah. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else, sir? You want to add anything, or?
Thank you.
Now, motion to adjourn.
You got a shower and.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.